Hey, welcome everybody to Hangout with Robb and Linda. Thank you so much for taking a look at our video. We know that you're going to really be helped by the things that we talk about today. That's amazing, isn't it? That you can get phone calls right in the middle of your video. And so what I want to do right now is I actually want to talk about something that's been going on that maybe you haven't thought about much. But really, the things that have been going on as far as the different terrorist attacks and those kind of things that are going on not only around the world, but things that really now have become more than a video game here in America, but it's become a reality to an everyday occurrence for us. And America has gone through a tremendous amount of changes to the point where people are just absolutely in fear over what may happen to them, even at their Christmas party this year. Because what just happened in San Bernardino just happened at a Christmas party at a government kind of a special needs committee and building. And so what I want to talk about a little bit is I want to talk about President Obama's address to the nation on safety and security that just happened this past Sunday evening. I believe that each and every one of us have somewhat of a feeling about that. I'm not really talking too much about an opinion, as I'm talking to you about a feeling. Does that feeling that you get from listening to the president's speech, does that feeling give you feelings of safety and security? Or are they feelings that you get that are actually putting you at a place where you are even in greater fear than you might have been, than you were the day before? I can remember, because I was there, actually, I got a telephone call that said, hurry, turn on television. You need to see what's going on. Have you heard what's happening in New York on September the 11th, 2001? And as I turned on our television, it was not even a minute after I turned it on to where that second plane had hit one of the Twin Towers. And I watched that plane plunge itself into the side of one of the greatest symbols of America in the World Trade Center. And that was a very interesting time for America. Since that time, there's been a lot that have happened. Since 1969, there have been approximately 66,000 different terrorist attacks around the world. And from 2009 till today, there have been 38,000 terrorist attacks. More of these terrorist attacks are happening closer and closer to home every day. It's not just something that you hear about overseas any longer. It's something that you're hearing about that may have happened just across the street. So what did the president promise? He promised us that what we were doing as a country, we were doing the greatest that we could possibly do to be able to stem terror around the world. We were looking to be able to get into some talks that would bring peace in order for us to just deal with what's called ISIL, and which being no longer a people or no longer a religion, but really what it is that it is a cancer that lives inside of that religion. I want to know, I want you to comment to me. I want you to comment and let me know, how do you feel about that? Like I said, do you feel safer today than you felt even before, for some of us, before September 11th? Or do you feel more in fear? Especially after what happened, where 130 people just a couple of weeks ago were killed in Paris. They have the greatest gun laws, just about the greatest gun laws on the face of the earth. And yet, strictest gun laws, or the biggest gun laws on the face of the earth. But yet at the same time, they had the largest terrorist attack since World War II in Paris. So make a comment. Let me see. What do you think about this? How do you feel about this? You're an American for the most part, who I'm speaking to. How do you feel about what the president had to say? Give me what your opinion is. I believe that it means a tremendous amount to all of us. What you think? A lot of times, what happens is that we don't really embrace the reality of what we face. We, as Americans, kind of lived inside of a video game for such a long time that those things never happened here. Now they're happening here to us pretty much somehow, some way on a daily basis, with all of the different gun violence around the country. Here I live, Linda and I live here in the city of Chicago, and here in the city of Chicago there is more gun violence over a weekend than there is in any other place around the country at that time. So I want to know how you feel. How do you feel about what the president had to say? I want to make sure that you feel safe as an individual and for your family. And I want to encourage you to uphold strong principles to your kids, to display them, gentlemen, to display them before your family, before your wife. If you're not married yet, then I want to encourage you to uphold high standards so that we can see this stem of evil turned away and we can come onto something different. And so I want to make sure that what we've done is that we've talked about this. So give us a little bit of that. Do you have any thoughts about that?
What would you consider, when you said gentlemen have high standards? High standards about what?
Well, high standards about teaching your family and those that are around you on how to build a strong life in truth, in character, in honesty, in standing for what is right, not falling for everything that just comes down the street, and not just becoming a naysayer of trying to build a nation. No matter what anyone ever would think, unless you have traveled, all you hear is what media tells you or what you can hear from people on the street. But I can tell you, as an individual who travels quite extensively, that America, no matter how a person feels about it, there is no greater place on the face of the earth than America. I've been most places around the globe that would be worth going to. And I can tell you how good that it feels to come back onto American soil and begin to realize that at least there is some semblance of truth. At least there is some way that I can be a self-determiner and determine the outcome of my life. I can create a future. I can actually determine what I want to be, what I want to produce, and what I want to teach the people that are around me. Always be a firm, not only believer, but a firm actor on building, not in tearing down. And so those are just a couple of the things about
funny you should say that, because I went to the post office today and me and the postal worker were talking about that, about what a great country we have and how people complain about it. But that they can't even send, packages to a whole lot of different countries in the world, in different parts of Asia, of course, the Middle East, lots of places in Africa, because it won't get where it's going.
It'll never get there.
Or it takes a huge amount of time, gets all caught up in customs and everything. And yet, if somebody sends something today, a letter, and the people don't get it by tomorrow, they come back and they complain, but they'll get there the next day. So we just don't realize
kind of funny.
We just don't realize the little conveniences that we have and how much security and blessing that we do have being a part of America.
And what's happening to us is not easily detected by people who are coming from their 20s and even people in their 30s. They don't remember what America was like previous to 9/11. America was nothing like it is today. You would never hear of the types of violence in America, in our nation, as well as we wouldn't hear those kind of things from across the world. We would think how horrible that they were if we ever heard that with anything that was anywhere near this.
And so, Rob, that would even go along with the standard. You were talking about, raising your children with a standard, or even having a standard for yourself. And it's teaching yourself how to deal with anger, because people that, that do acts of violence are usually angry about something, and then they take that anger out on somebody else. Teaching people, or teaching yourself, just how to be kind to people, just to not just be thinking about yourself all the time, but reaching out to others and trying to help other people, including the people that are right in your home, because lots of times we'll be nice to people outside and not inside. But learning just how to do just simple things like that. It may seem simple, but not necessarily is all the time.
And building trust. Learning how to build trust with your life. Learning to have people trust you and never betray that trust. As we began talking about, how did we feel about the president's speech, is that we need to be able to make sure that we can trust the people that we have in office, and that we need to bring that all the way down to where we live, to where people that we know, can they trust us? And can we have people around us that are trustworthy? And that's what builds a strong
Rob,
nation.
that is so important, because just in another month, really, a month and a half, I'm not sure when the first primary is, but the primaries begin in January. And they'll be going on throughout, most of 2016, of course, culminating with the election in November. So it's really important for us to get to know our candidates, and so that we can decide who we are going to entrust ourselves to vote for, even in the primaries, because it's important. Whoever gets, if you don't vote in the primary, then, don't complain about who you get to vote for in the presidential election, because you need to make your voice be heard right there in the primaries to decide who you're going to trust, and go for it and vote for them, and then see what happens from there.
And it's really important for all of us to be able to get out and vote, and make sure that you vote your conscience, not your emotions.
Yeah, that's so important.
Do you want your little girls facing certain things? Do you want certain things taught in our public school system? It's not all about just us having our needs met, but what it is it's making sure that the needs of the next generation are met, even if we have had to go through a few difficult times in order to be able to create that future for them. And so we just wanted to kind of touch that just a little bit. But what we want to talk about for just a minute now, do you have a favorite moment? A favorite moment in your life, something that you can reflect on that was a favorite time for you over these last couple of weeks. Linda, what's been your favorite moment these last couple of weeks?
Well, you know what? Getting to spend time with my dad in the hospital. My mom and I got to make cookies today, and just having breakfast with you yesterday.
That's because I'm a really good time.
Getting to talk to Anthony and Chantel and the kids. It's always fun.
Yeah, I
All
enjoy.
Those things have been fun.
I've really enjoyed being able to see my father-in-law in the hospital, not because he's in the hospital, but because it could be a time where I was able to speak to him in ways maybe that I've never gotten to before. Linda and I have been married a long time.
And him's just listening to him.
Oh gosh. And I mean,
I'm learning new stories.
I thought I could run him out of words, but there's no way. I mean, there isn't any way. He's got more words than I've got ears. And so, but I've enjoyed that time. It's filled up some empty spots for me, and some places that maybe just some things didn't necessarily fit together. I've enjoyed talking to the grandkids as well.
Rosco lost 2 front teeth.
Yeah, he lost
All
2
he
front
wants
teeth.
for Christmas is his 2 front teeth right now.
He lost 2 front teeth. He's telling me he's going to lose 2 more.
Yeah, they're
before we
wobbly,
see them
as
next
he keeps
month.
telling us.
Yeah, they're wobbly, but they're really not wobbling. They're not moving at all. But it's finger
Oh,
that's
they
wobbling.
are. They are wobbly.
I don't know. I don't know. I
Yeah,
saw his
they are.
finger wobble. I didn't see the tooth go, but I've enjoyed that. It's been great, um, and that's where in creating a favorite moment, one of the things that
Cherishing the times you have with the people that you love.
sure, the people that you love, but also in order for you to get filled up in your emotions, think about this for just a moment. Think about spending some time with people that love you instead of you spending your time consistently with people that you love,
Or
but
they
really
just
beginning
need
to
you.
spend or just need you, but spending time with people that love you and care for you so that you can have some of the needs in your own life filled up just as well. And so what type of national day is it? It's got to be
I was just going to
sometime.
say, tonight is the third, well, it's already happened in other parts of the world, but it's the third night of Hanukkah. So Hanukkah is being celebrated it started on Sunday evening. It goes from sundown to sundown to sundown. On the 6th it started, and it ends on the 13th. And the reason that the Jews celebrate it is because many years ago, they needed oil for the temple, and they were being surrounded by some enemies. And there was a miracle where the light in the tabernacle, that they had plenty of oil, even though they only had 1 day's worth of oil, but they had plenty of oil for the 8 days it took for them to finally get oil for that. And so, as a reminder of the miracle that God did for them, by being able to keep the light lit in the tabernacle, that's how Hanukkah began, was that way. So, what people who celebrate Hanukkah do is they get a menorah, and the menorah has.
Well, what's a menorah look like?
It's, I should have brought ours down, but it's got 8 candles that are all the same height, and then one that sticks up a little bit higher. And the one that's a little bit higher lights each candle for each night. So on the first night you light 1 candle, on the second night you light 2 candles, on the third night you light 3 candles, which you always.
Well, that's not the one with 12 drummers drumming or 8 pipers piping and 7
and
swans
so
are swimming.
Actually, there is a scriptural representation for that candle. That candle is supposed to be likened unto Jesus, because Jesus is the light of the world, and so he lights each one of us, and we go on from there. But it's a great holiday to celebrate. It has a lot of spiritual significance, and we celebrated it when Anthony was little. I used to do the candles with him, and we had a scriptural theme that we did, and then I put a little gift by his door every night, and it blesses me because now Anthony and Chantel are doing it with their children. I do it with the grandkids. I send them a little gift and a scripture card, but Chantel's doing it with the kids. They go over something, and it really blesses me that.
Yeah, and it'd be a great thing for you to go over with your kids just as well, if you're inclined to do that.
Yeah, because they do call it the holiday season. Most people don't even know what holiday. Hanukkah's a holiday that's during the holiday season. It's not always at the exact same week, but it's sometime anywhere between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So this year it started on the 6th. So you can just kind of get in there now if you want to. Go online, find out some things about Hanukkah, and just make the whole season a special time.
Yeah, that's true. So what we'd like for you to do is we'd like for you to subscribe and like this video. If you like this video, if you thought that it had some merit, we'd really like a thumbs up on that. Also, leave your comments about the things we talked about the president's speech. I want to really know how you feel about that, and also think about your favorite times. These are a few of your favorite things, and make sure that those people are the people that are around you, that they have.
Being with Rob, being with my parents, being with my kids.
Like I said, subscribe and like what we're doing and follow us. And thanks until next time.
God bless you.